Okay, you want to flip camera one for me?
Oh.
Okay, you got your tape and everything, okay?
Tape spin.
Oh, okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. Go to black, okay? Todd, you guys want to come here for a second? Okay, now basically, this is just the same thing as everyone's pay attention, because right there, we cut out the editorial. So we're going to be scratching. I'll tell the guy at the cue cards to get rid of it so it won't confuse you, okay? Okay, let's go out. We're pretty much ready to go. Okay. Do you want to zoom out a little bit for me right there? Okay, zoom out a little bit. So much like that? Okay, that's good. Okay, here we get the mics on. Okay, now you, Tami, that's going to be your cue card. Randy, this is going to be your cue card. Just keep on looking at that camera right there, okay?
Alright.
Alright, you guys all ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Audio video up. You tell them. Okay, tell them. All right, very good.
Hello and welcome. My name is Randy Wynn.
And my name's Tamara Autentico, your host for this week's edition of Spotlight.
This week, we hope to entertain you and also inform you of the many things happening in our community.
Our first segment is sure to be of entertainment to all you physical fitness buffs. So let's go now to Fitness World and have a look. Hello, I'm Tammy Grimes, and today we're at Fitness World here in Antioch on 4th and H Street. Today I'm going to be interviewing Mike Sexton, and Mike's going to tell us a little bit about bodybuilding. Mike, could you tell us how long you've been bodybuilding?
Well, I've been bodybuilding about 2.5 years. My first year, which was Olympic lifting, it's basically putting the weight over your head.
Okay, and I understand that in order to become a professional bodybuilder, it takes a lot of time and hard work on your part. Could you tell us about how many hours a week that you work out?
I spend about 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, which adds to about 10 hours a week average.
Okay, Mike, what was it that first interested you into becoming a bodybuilder?
I was looking through magazines at the store, and I happened to find a Muscle Builder magazine, and I was just overtaken by the sheer size and powerful look that the bodybuilders put off.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Mike Sexton here at Fitness World, and we'd like to see you join bodybuilding. Hi, I'm here now with employee Mark Talbot. Mark's going to tell us a little bit about Fitness World. Mark, could you tell us how many hours a week Fitness World is open?
It's open from 8:30 to 10 at night, Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays it's open from 9 to 3.
Okay, thank you very much. Mark, how much does it cost to join, and is Fitness World open to both men and women or just men?
It's open to both men and women, and the rates for women are a little bit less than men. Let's see. The 1 month is a 25 for men, and for women it's 20.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you recommend Fitness World to people who plan to lose a little bit of weight or anything so they can firm themselves up?
Yeah, we have all the equipment to lose weight, tone, build muscles, anything you want. They have pretty much the equipment that you need.
Thank you very much, Mark. This is Tammy Grimes, and we hope to be seeing you here at Fitness World trying to shape yourself up. Thank you. Mike Sexton is now demonstrating for us the bar dip. Mike, that really looked good. Could you tell us a little bit about what that develops and how much weight you were lifting?
Well, first of all, I was using my own body weight plus about 85 extra pounds between my legs. And it basically develops through your chest area into your shoulder. And I was using a bent over position, which will develop more into your chest than your triceps. If you use a straight up position, it'll develop through your back arm.
Oh, thank you very much. Could you do a few poses for us and tell us a little bit about what they develop?
Yeah, I guess I could.
Okay. Could you tell us which one you're going to be doing first?
Well, I'd have to take off my shirt.
Oh, okay.
First, I'll be hitting the side chest and abdomen shot, which I'll... That basically shows through the abs and the chest area as well as the back arm. Another
Okay.
shot which I could do is show my development through my back and my shoulder development. That right there hits through your lats, shows your middle back as well as your shoulder and a little bit of your arm.
Okay.
I could do a back lat spread, which will show the development of my lats.
Okay. Mike Sexton, a back lat spread.
That right there shows the sheer size of your back. Anything special you'd like to see?
Yeah, could you give us some of your leg shots of your legs poses?
Sure. There's really not much you can do for legs.
Okay, thank you very much. We're here with Senior Mike Sexton from Antioch High School. Thank you, Mike, very much.
Thank you.
And now, to Chris Allen with this week's sports commentary.
Hi, I'm Chris Allen for Sports Spotlight, and I'm here with Star Center Senior Center Leslie Adams, who's a member of the girls' varsity basketball team. Leslie, what does it take to be a good rebounder?
You have to have right timing. You have to be able to block out. If you have height, you have advantage over someone who's shorter. You need to, if you have springy legs, it's just as good as being tall. And blocking out is really important. If you can block out and get the player behind you, then you can get the rebound.
Besides being a member of the basketball team, Leslie's a member of the girls' track team and the girls' varsity cross-country team. How do you use these skills to go along with basketball?
Well, you need endurance. In track and cross-country, you build up a lot of endurance, and you need that because you're constantly running back and forth on the court.
Thank you, Leslie. Hi, I'm Chris Allen for Sports Spotlight, and I'm here with Darryl Jaime, a senior wrestler for the wrestling team. Darryl, do you think your shoulder injury, which you suffered early in the year, do you think it was any cause of any losses you might have suffered this year?
No. When you're out on the mat, you're so hyped up, and you don't really feel the pain until after the match. So, no, I don't think it has anything to do with my losses.
How does your shoulder feel right now?
It doesn't bother me. It hasn't bothered me for about a week.
Do you think the loss to Clayton Valley last week affected any of the other wrestlers, or did you take it real well as a team?
I think we took it pretty good. We did pretty good against Clayton Valley, but it just made the team want to go out there a lot stronger. We started practicing harder, for our next matches. I think we started working out a lot harder and mentally and physically. So
I think Coach Sanchez prepared you guys really well for that meet, and I think you came out really well. So thank you, Darryl, and good luck on the rest of the season. I'm Chris Allen for Sports Spotlight.
This next segment should be of interest to all of our audience. It's a method of saving a life someone may need to know someday.
How many times have you seen a poster like this, but how many times have you taken notice of its message? Well, today on Spotlight's new health tips segment, we will show you how to tell if someone is choking, and more important, what to do. Many people are aware of the Heimlich maneuver, but not many know when it is necessary. Here are a few things to look for if you think someone is choking. First, ask the victim a question that requires something other than a yes or no answer, for not being able to speak is a sign that the airway is completely obstructed and they may choke to death. Second, watch for hand-to-neck signals. This is called universal choking. A blue coloration of the facial skin is another confirming sign. Third, if the victim collapses, at this point time is almost out for the victim. From the moment they first start choking, you have 4 minutes to clear their airway before they die or cause permanent brain damage, so act immediately. If the victim still has no response, stand behind him, place your arms supporting their abdomen, and have them bend over as much as possible. Then give 4 sharp back blows between the shoulder blades to help loosen the objects. Then wrap your arms around the victim's waist. Place your fist, thumb side against the victim's abdomen, slightly above the navel and below the rib cage. Grasp your fist with your other hand and press into the victim's abdomen with quick upward thrust. Then repeat 3 times if necessary. If this is not effective and the victim collapses, lay him on his side, give him 4 more sharp blows to the back, then quickly turn the victim on his back. Now, facing the victim, kneel astride his hips. With one of your hands on top of the other, place the heel of your bottom hand on the abdomen, slightly above the navel and below the rib cage. Press into the victim's abdomen with a quick upward thrust. Repeat 3 times if necessary. When object comes out, be sure victim is breathing, then turn them on their side until medical help arrives. Be sure follow-up medical care is given.
Hi, I'm Becky Humbard, and here today is Russell Cornelius, an economics teacher at the high school. We're here retiring this year, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes, I am. I'll be retiring on January the 29th at the end of this semester.
How many years have you taught at the high school?
I've taught here at the high school since 1959. I guess that's 22 and a half years, I think.
Did you teach anywhere else before coming to the school?
Yes, I taught in the elementary schools at the Antioch here for 6 years, and I've taught in Utah for 3 years.
Have you always taught economics?
No, I've taught in the social studies area, government, history, sociology, in addition to economics.
Do you have a favorite memory of your years teaching at the high school?
Oh, my memories are mostly pretty general. My favorite memories are those of good relationships with a group of wonderful young people.
What will you miss the most?
I guess young people.
Is there something special you plan to do after your retirement?
Yes, I'm moving back to Utah, to the home where I was raised.
What was the particular reason you chose that spot?
I guess because I have some family and friends, and little property there, and some unfulfilled dreams of youth.
Well, you certainly will be missed here at the high school, and we wish you the best in your new adventure.
Thank you.
And now for a special Spotlight editorial.
We have many interesting and fascinating programs at the Antioch High School. These programs help students find and understand themselves and their goals. We are faced with the question, why do some students lose interest in school? Some students lose interest in school because they are afraid to succeed, bored, confused, sometimes even have emotional and personal problems. They are afraid of failing, of disappointing, displeasing adults around them whose limitless hopes and expectations hang over their heads like clouds. Students are bored because they are given some work which they find dull, or instructions which are not fully explained, or even projects which they don't find sufficiently challenging. Emotional and personal problems are also why some students lose interest in school. We have classes at the Antioch High School who help with these problems, such as Group. Group is designed to help and support students with these problems and discuss their feelings and goals. The instructor of this class is Mr. Mickey Marchetti, which I will be speaking with next. Mickey, I have found in many cases that if the parent shows interest in the student's work, that they stay interested in school longer. What is your opinion on this?
As far as the parents staying interested in the kids, as far as I'm staying more interested, I think that that definitely plays a part in it. But I think more so, the parents' own interest in their own lives probably has more of an effect on on their children as far as their interest in school. I think that when parents lose interest in what happens in their own lives and gives off those kind of messages to their kids in various ways, like being apathetic about their job, not caring about their job, not caring about what happens in their life. And it's shown a lot of times by massive TV watching, apathetic attitude. I think that carries over onto their children and in their own their children's lives as far as being apathetic, and school is a very big part of their children's lives. I do think, though, that when parents show an interest in their own children throughout their schooling, that does have an effect. But I think to show a more genuine feeling, or an absolute genuine feeling of interest towards their own children in school, I think they need to be actually interested in their own lives. So I would say yes to your question, that I think that it plays a role, but I see it more so being a role of being interested in their own lives, because I think that apathy or loss of interest in anything is contagious. I think anytime you're around someone that means a lot to you, and they're apathetic themselves in whatever they has to do with their life, that it's going to carry over onto yourself.
So you feel that it begins at an early age? Like when the child is younger and it reflects off the parents?
I think that it's not new knowledge that at a younger age the children are very impressionable by their parents, very impressionable. And I think at an early age, yes, it starts, and it's really critical. I think that one thing that parents maybe need to remember is at that age, at an early age, their children can pick up on messages. I think if some parents show interest, let's say, in a way just to be manipulative of their children, that the children are going to pick up on it. Their children are going to know that my parents are showing interest in me only to get me to do what I think that they think I need to do. You know, like, good boy, you did a good job on your test. That means to me, hey, keep it up, because they wanted me to keep it up, as opposed to, I actually think that they are interested in my schooling and they enjoyed that I did a good job on the test. I also think that children can pick up on messages given off by parents that on the outside maybe show interest, but on the inside are actually fulfilling what they think is the role as a parent. Children can pick up on parents saying, "How was your day in school today?" And the message maybe being, as a parent, I'm supposed to ask you that, as opposed to a genuine interest. So I think that parents' influence is very high, but I think they need to be aware of just how sincere they are about it, because their children can pick up on it. And what does it tell their children? It tells their children that I do good in school, so it allows me to be kind of manipulated. So, or as an outcome of being manipulated, and if they keep learning that, that's got to just lead to apathy.
Okay, and I found that when a person has emotional or personal problems, that they tend to lose interest in the schoolwork and things like that. Do you feel that this plays a role on student apathy or losing interest in school?
That's a tough question. That's a real hard question. And that's probably what group is all about, actually. Group allows us the opportunity to, I don't know if I can say this word, but legitimatize, make real our own feelings, and to show other people and ourselves that the feelings that we have are very real, because I think that, especially with the males in this school, it is a male macho thing to do, that is not to admit to yourself and especially to other people that I do have any feelings at all. To answer your question more directly, I think that to admit to yourself and especially to other people that I do have any feelings at all. To answer your question more directly, I think that at your age right now, your own challenges that you're going through, and I like challenges, I think, more than problems. Your emotional challenges that you're going through are very important to you, and I think it can be frustrating to go and say, learn basic history when they don't talk about any kind of feelings at all, whether it be feelings of the people that you're talking about or your own feelings about what you're learning, and get away with it. I think that they, by not including their own feelings into the classroom, you're actually telling them that I don't admit that you do have feelings and you do need to work through them, and that can lead to frustration, I think, which can lead to apathy. I think that one thing that could be done is I think that feelings in general, if they were brought more into a classroom setting, it would allow people your age to talk about something that means a lot to them, which has to increase interest level.
I see. Okay. The parents that I've talked to and some students, they feel that the responsibility of a student to keep their own interest in school is about 1/3 to 1/2. How would you say the responsibility of the student is?
How much of the responsibility of keeping their own interests is the students? That's what you're asking? Mm-hmm. I don't know it so much in numbers, or I don't understand it so much in numbers, but this is how I understand it. I think that, and this is a little bit of play on words, and I'll explain myself a little bit further. I think that it is high school people's, students, responsibility to find out just how much they are responsible for keeping their own interest level up. And it is through my experiences this year of talking with my group people that there are things that you can do to keep your own interest level up. Some of the things that they brought up is a lot of times you might receive an assignment and you have different avenues that you can take with that assignment, and different ways that, different things that you can talk about. And you could channel your own interest in a particular area. For example, the example that we were talking about in group, let's say that somebody gave me an assignment on doing a report on the 1920s. Pick something about the 1920s and talk about it, which a lot of teachers do, just to try to, they allow you the opportunity to put your own interest level in it. And that allows me as a person to say, well, what interests me? What are things that I value? What are things that I'd like to learn about? And I think that is something that the students can do. I think the students are also responsible for their own apathy, because I believe that only boring people get bored. And I think that if there are 90 boring things in a classroom to every 10 things that I think are exciting or non-boring, then me as a person, I have the ability to look at those 10 things and make it that way. You know, it's about survival. And it's only the beginning right now. You know, like we were talking about in group, how many jobs are there where you can be a football player and where you can fly to Tahiti Monday through Friday and have the weekends off? There aren't that many jobs that are just absolutely going to be 100% exciting. It is how you see things, and you know, I hate to use cliches, but it is a lot what you make of it. I also think that the students' responsibility, they need to understand, they need to look back a little bit. They need to understand what it feels like to be standing in front of 25 faces that look bored to death. And in that way they're contributing to the apathy of the whole class. because any way that they affect the teacher is going to in turn affect them back, and it's kind of a mutual thing, which I want to talk about in a minute, because I think that's where teachers' responsibility comes in. Another responsibility I think of the students is, I think that any kind of a classroom setting that they create, that let's say there's 20 people in a classroom, they're 1/20th responsible for it, and they need to accept that responsibility. And if they're boring themselves, then 1/20th of that class is going to be boring. As far as teachers are concerned, I think the main thing that they're responsible for is keeping their own interest level up, because again, I think we need to remember that apathy is contagious. And if I come into a classroom and I'm bored with my subject matter that I'm going to teach, my gosh, how is anybody else going to be excited by it? It would be really hard to do.
If a teacher gives a person a boring paper to do, I mean, and that's it, do this paper, they'll have a test after this paper, after the assignment is done. The person's really going to become really bored, and they're going to lose their interest. But I'm sure if the class had held a discussion, that it'd be more interesting. Don't you feel that the teacher should apply more interesting work or something like that to keep the students interested?
I think it is a teacher's responsibility to do what he feels is going to be creating the best learning situation in the classroom. It is my feeling, and obviously yours, that to keep an optimum interest level is going to enhance learning. I don't know that a lot of teachers recognize that, and that is their own way of handling their class. Some other teachers may look at it as being the best learning environment, being something else included in it besides maybe a high interest level, like maybe some teachers like to work in a high stress level, feeling, making the people in the class feel that at any time possible they're going to get called on, so there's different things that teachers try to include in it. So I think if we're assuming that a high interest level will enhance learning, I think that there is some things that they can do, yes, to empathize with the students and know what things interest them. I also think that we need to go back. I deal with, or I've talked to a lot of people that go into a situation and maybe come out and say that they're bored and they only get to do these certain things and they're boring. And I tell them, how many times have you told them that? How many times have you offered suggestions that you'd like to see them? Well, none. I think it's important that students take their own responsibility by letting the teachers know exactly how they feel about things in an appropriate way.
I see. If you had a chance, what kind of changes would you make to decrease student apathy?
That's probably about the hardest question you came up with, because we can't theorize anymore. I think now we're coming into reality. One thing that I would like to see happen is I would like to see, at a younger age, creative problem solving taught, and it's something that we talked about earlier, and I think that has to do with learning how to learn. It's tied in together. I think if you learn at a young age, creative problem solving simply means using your own imagination and creativity with things that you think, or let me start with using your own imagination with actual reality and things that you actually think can be done in order to meet a problem's needs. And it's being able to brainstorm as many alternatives as you can think of. And if I have a problem, and if I have 8 or 9 alternatives, chances are that I'm going to satisfy that problem better if I can only then, as opposed to only thinking of maybe 2 or 3 problems. And if they could do that, then why not later on, if they have that ability, say, okay, this is the problem, you're bored, what do you do about it? And if they have that ability to create 9 or 10 solutions to it, maybe 2 or 3 of them are off the wall, but maybe 6 or 7 of them are legitimate solutions, and that they would be able to come up with a solution to the problem. I think that teachers need to listen more, need to listen to the messages that the high school people are giving to them, such as emotional needs that they have, and include that and enhance interest level that way. And I think they need to listen to messages that maybe suggest ways that they would like to do the learning. And I would like to see teachers and students educated as to the disease of apathy so we can stop it. Because I think that the apathy of the students and the apathy of the teacher feeds off one another. I'm not sure where it starts. I know that at one time I bet teachers were really interested in what they're doing, and through various classes and coming on and bringing apathy with them, it can kill them and make them apathetic. But it's still a mutual thing. They feed off one another. I would particularly like to see students educated as to the disease of apathy so it stops right now, so they don't spread it any more than it needs to be.
I see. Okay, well, I'd like to thank you for your opinions and your cooperation.
You're welcome. Very much. I enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Many teachers get involved with their students, such as Mr. Rumrill of the electronics class. He will be telling us a little bit about how he gets his students involved in their work. Mr. Rumrill, I was told that many students who graduate from your class have got into electronics field. Tell me, how do you get these students interested in their work?
Well, basically, electronics is an exciting field. It offers a great many opportunities for employment. It's nice, clean work. It changes all the time. It never gets boring. So it's a matter of just grabbing them and making them aware of this, and then holding that carrot out there about all that money you can make in the electronics business, whatever aspect of the field you want to go into, and there are many levels. The thing that bothers me, since you're standing here, is that 70% of the industry is populated by women. How many women do I get into my electronics classes? One, once in a while.
So not very many women come in?
Not very many. But no, as far as the students who are here is concerned, and I know that's what you asked, just because of a natural curiosity about things, I guess, and the fact that it is an exciting area. It draws students in.
I see. Well, have you noticed any changes in the in the interest level among the students now from the past 10 years?
Well, in general, I would say that because of the broader choices that students have, for instance, you didn't have TV productions 10 or 20 years ago when I came here, 20 years ago when I came here. We didn't offer many of the things that we now offer. I think that students are about the same as they were. It's just that their choices have become so broad that maybe sometimes that choice is a little more difficult. Basically, though, I find that students are just as interested as they ever were in school itself. Now, I have seen a decrease in interest in so-called co-curricular activities. Clubs and things like that are way down. And that's really too bad, because those extracurricular things really help in the classroom, because it gives the student more of a feeling of belonging. He's not just here to do this one thing in this class. He can tie his whole school experience together by being more involved totally, which also, I feel, would help the student with alternatives to some of the problems they have when they're not at school.
I see. Do you know why the student curricular activities are down?
Do I know why? If I knew...
Would you have an idea?
Do I have an idea? Well, probably because we've become, in a sense at least, a society that does not like to be that well organized. For organized activities, the kids seem to want the freedom, and I can understand that. But when you have that freedom and don't know what to do with it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I know this is true, though, throughout the country. It's not just here in Antioch.
If you had a chance to change, what kind of changes would you make to decrease student loss?
Well, first of all, while all teachers, I feel, do work to make their courses appealing and to make them pertinent to what a student is interested in, we need to somehow make students more aware of the breadth of opportunity open to them. And one thing I would certainly say is, if I were the king, every student would be taking career decision-making early in high school, either 9th or 10th grade. Take that career decision-making class so that he could have a better idea of what's open to him. Because I can tell you, as a good example, many of the students that I get in my beginning electronics classes are seniors. And they say, well, why didn't I come here 2 years ago? Why didn't I get into this as a 10th grader? Well, it's mostly because somehow the word isn't getting out. And so that's part of it, I'm sure. But as far as desired changes are concerned, again, I think that if there was a way to encourage students to be more involved in total activities of the school, not just the curriculum, not just the courses they take, but more extracurricular activities. And again, I'll put a plug in for VICA. You know, that's a good one. Vocational Industrial Clubs of America is a great way to go.
Do a lot of people get interested in there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for your cooperation and your opinions.
Super. I enjoyed it. More darn fun. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to thank Mr. Mickey Marchetti and Mr. Richard Rumrill for their opinions and cooperation on this subject. Why do some students lose interest in school? Thank you.
Once again, we take you to Spotlight's news break with important up-to-date information concerning our community.
Welcome to Spotlight News. I'm Ted Asregadoo.
And I'm Brian Birkland.
The historic mining town of Nortonville became a part of the Black Diamond Regional Mines last month. With this transfer of the privately owned mines to the East Bay Regional Park Districts, the federal government awarded the contract for the closing of the 39 deadly mines on the land. Work started last week to close the mine shafts. These mines claimed the lives of 4 youths who suffocated in a carbon dioxide-filled tunnel. The 2 brothers attended Antioch High School at the time of their death. Joe and Dell Faulkner and their cousins, Greg and Gary Faulkner, died. The 4 perished in the fatal expedition of the mines, which were a popular hangout for the East County teenagers. The federal contract for sealing the mines was awarded in a special ceremony last month. Congressman George Miller of Martinez and Hewlett Hornbeck of the Park District attended the ceremony, taking time out to examine the mines. The Black Diamond mines were California's best source of coal until it was priced out by market by cheaper coal from Washington. The mine will cost $318,430 to close, and the shafts of the 180-acre addition to the park.
More and more Antioch families can no longer afford to keep their pets, leading to the severe neglect of household animals. It's a growing problem, and it seems to be directly related to the wave of layoffs by East Contra Costa County industries. One of the pets forced out in the street is Gretchen, the Doberman Pinscher shown here with Darryl Herx, Antioch Animal Services Senior Director. Herx says people are not purposely starving their dogs, but there is no choice when it comes to feeding their children or their pets. People dump the animals off on freeways where they get hit. Others are found wandering the streets. The shelter, which holds 48 dogs, is filled to capacity. If you would like to adopt one of these dogs, call the Antioch Animal Services at 757-2278.
East Contra Costa County students would feel the pinch of massive college age cuts considered by President Reagan win congressional approval. The American Council on Education in Washington, D.C. recently reported that Reagan's budget message in this month is expected to propose cutting the national $3.5 billion college aid program in half. Almost 1/3 of the Antioch High School college-bound graduates rely on federal loans and grants. Antioch High head counselor Don Brusling said reduction would hurt aspiring students. Aid programs that face the budget acts include Pell Grants, formerly called Basic Educational Opportunity Grants. Reagan is looking at slashing $1 billion out of the $2.4 billion program. 8 Antioch High School students receiving these grants last year. Los Mandados College in Pittsburgh gave away $160,000 under this program last year. The $77 million state student incentive grants program, which provides 12% of the Cal grants, is slated for elimination. 39 Antioch High School students graduated last year and got these Cal grants. Los Mandados College awarded the $40,000 in the grants for low-price income or disadvantaged students. The federal work-study program is under consideration in slashing $150 million out of the $550 million jobs program for college students. Guaranteed student loans, Reagan is considering hiking interest rates. Pat Smith of the American Council on Education predicted that these cuts, if successful, would force many students out of college.
Reggie Rowe, escorted by Gina Vanny, was chosen as this year's Mr. Panther by the student body on January 22nd. Reggie, sponsored by the yearbook, performed Super Freak as his skit. Other candidates include Steve Ochoa, Howard Leahy, Jack Hall, and Claude Lang. The winning skit was Steve Ochoa's $1.98 beauty show, which was sponsored by the Rally Club.
A planned cost-cutting Antioch High School driver's training program was approved, requiring parents to road test their children. By relying on parents, the school can reduce behind-the-wheel driver's training by 1 hour and cut simulated driving practice in half. The first phase of this program, students would undergo 6 hours of simulated driving practice, learning braking, steering, speed control, and defensive driving. Then parents would take over the instruction under their direction. Students would practice starting the car, shifting into gear, releasing brakes, and signaling. Student drivers would also practice on Antioch roads, making turns and steering. After completing this practice, parents would certify in writing that the students had performed satisfactorily.
Earlier this month, junior Carla Lehman and senior Steve Navarres won a national contest based on their abilities as lighting designers. Lighting design is a plot detailing how lights and electrical fixtures are to be set up before a play to make everything seem natural and lifelike. This contest, sponsored by the United States Institute for Theater Technology, was reported to have tough competition in all categories. In essence, Carla and Steve had to design a plot for 2 plays and submit them to a committee for judgment. The best part, however, was the prize of which both students were winners. After a brief stop in Denver, Colorado, their plots are scheduled to go on a national tour with other winning entries. This tour includes stops in many major cities, plus a week or 2 at the Smithsonian Institute. Although cash would be nicer, commented Carla, the showcase will give Steve and Carla recognition by professionals in the theater world. Well, that's our news for this week. My name's Brian Birkland.
And I'm Ted Asregadoo.
Till next week, so long.
We sincerely hope you all enjoyed the show this week.
Yes, and as always, we hope to have you all back next week for more interesting and exciting entertainment. Good day.